And a 1.
Welcome back to another episode of Let's Go Hunt, the only hunting podcast with a private naval flotilla. Tonight, we have Mike Gonsalves bringing the politics into it, Commodore Sam Alexander, Vince H. Goldsmith, and I'm Dave Packard, who's dressed up and ready for snow. Tonight, we're on a warpath for public land ducks and exploring the possibilities for waterfowl hunting from a canoodle or kayak. To canoodle.
Yeah, we missed an opportunity to make a funny kayak joke or something like canoodle, but nothing goes with kayak. Like, you can't say those people are kayaking together. That sounds gross.
Speaking of gross, Dusky says he's going to take his clothes off.
But we already started Dusky. You're probably naked anyway, so what the fuck do we care?
Have you seen the bugs down there? I bet he's never naked. Never nude.
You all heard about the little fish in the Amazon that swim up your urethra. Well, down there, they have mosquitoes that bite you straight down the hole.
No,
Oh my God.
no.
Not today.
I mean, yes, I've heard about it, but no.
Mosquitoes are out there just watching like, there he is. Get him.
They call those the sounding skeeters.
Anyway.
What sounding do they make?
Oh, God. No. No.
Nope.
It's kind of like an F-16.
That's all for tonight, folks.
You know what?
Goodbye.
You know what?
Thanks
You
for
know what
listening.
You know what F-16s do?
Shoot down
They fly.
mosquitoes.
Do you know what else flies? Ducks. I'm
Ducks
getting
fly.
great at this segue thing.
That's
So-
a fantastic segue. I'm so proud of you.
Yours.
See
Ergo-
segue run.
You can hunt F-16s with a federal duck stamp.
Yeah, something like that.
I mean,
I'm
Is this like Aristotle's inductive reasoning?
similar to that? Yeah, I want it to be. So for that, for that purpose, like definitely, federal duck stamp equals F-16, which explains
that?
why there's those 8-man pads in the country. Sweet.
Montana Dirt Road says, "Fox shit up." That's what F-16s do. Yeah, when they nosedive into people's homes because their engine went out, or they hit a flock of geese, or any other number of reason lawn darts crash into the ground for. And then they spread their hydrazine everywhere, which is really cool after an F-16 crash. Especially when they crash in the wetlands and poison all the ducks with their hydrazine.
You say this
So
like
anyway,
a man
Sam,
who's
duck
lost a
hunting.
house.
pending lawsuit.
Personally,
I really like
no.
that, Barrick.
So show me on the
Steamed it?
doll. Show me on the doll where the F-16 touched you,
They're called lawn darts for a reason. You guess.
because they're pointy and dangerous.
Yes.
And
So
you-
guess
Because
where
they're
it touched
illegal.
me? In the Amazon place.
All right. Well, Mike, what did you and I go out and do on Saturday?
We went out and hunted ducks. You actually shot ducks.
Oh, I thought we were canoodling.
Oh, well,
That
we
was
were
later.
canoodling about canoes, but that was later.
That was later.
First, we
Wow.
murdered things. And by we, I mean you.
Mm.
Because I missed.
I missed the same ducks you did, to be fair.
They must be bulletproof.
I was doing my ammo count afterward, trying to figure out if this 3 extra rounds I had in my shotgun came in handy, and actually they did. Because the same ones you shot at, I shot at, which would have left me out of ammo for the 2 that I did get. So,
So
Anyway.
it turns out that you guys are actually great shots, but those were drones.
Oh, that's why it kept getting closer to me.
that's
when
why
I
we saw
wasn't
the
shooting at it.
CPW. That's why we saw the CPW officers driving around. It explains so much.
Well, it's a good
anyway,
thing birds aren't real. We knew that.
So where'd y'all go duck hunting?
what is in my fridge?
Up at 11 Mile. Same place I like to go normally. Even same campground, which they have actually closed off as of today.
Wah, wah.
Yeah.
You finally dragged Sam out there with you?
Oh, yeah. I mean, we went out last year, and he didn't get to shoot a duck. I did. Now, I guess, tit for tat. He got
Well,
to shoot
ironically-
ducks. I didn't.
last year, half the reason I didn't shoot anything is because I was distracted looking at kayaks on Marketplace.
And the other half is because we were distracted trying to figure out a plan to shoot ducks 10 feet in front of us.
You shoot the
Just
one
shoot
on
'em.
the left. I'll shoot the one on the right. Who's right?
Flaps
You're
away.
right or the duck's right?
Which way's east?
Look, they're flying away now.
They heard us.
So I have talked to 2 people since Saturday who have both hunted in Colorado for a number of years, neither of whom have ever thought to bother trying to hunt ducks in this state.
Really?
And the only reason I can put to that is because there is, with waterfowl hunting in general, there seems to be such a culture. Well, first of all, the aim with all waterfowl hunting is to limit out. That's
Right.
like, if you limit out, you're like, ooh, we did it. That's what that's
Yeah.
the freaking end goal at all
6
times.
ducks.
That and banded birds. So, it
Explain
seems
that real
to have-
quick.
What?
Banded
Is that
birds.
like banding calves?
Yeah, you put the rubber band around the bird's nuts, and then you wait for them. When that bird flies over and they drop off, you try and catch them.
What?
A green-headed hen.
Um, those ones
That one's a
quack.
gelding.
Those ones
It's a
quack at
Henry.
higher- those ones quack at a higher pitch than the rest. But banded birds are just birds with little metal bands around them because they got caught somewhere as a little duckling, and they shove a band on them, and then they try and track them. Well, actually, they just write down where they were banded at to start with, and then eventually they're hoping they're gonna get shot by somebody. And if you shoot a banded bird, you're supposed to call it in, and tell them where you shot it, and they'll give you a little certificate that says, "Congratulations, you shot a special bird."
And you can be like, hey, I'm special. And then you can frame it and be like, look at my special bird, guys.
Well, then if you're actually good at this stuff, you wear all the bands on like your little duck call necklace, and you look really cool. And then the rest of us are just there with our little cheap duck call, shoving it inside of a shotgun loop so nobody sees it.
Yeah, my duck calls read fell out. So I'm going to wait. Like,
Just the
I was mad.
whistle
It's a
now?
good call. It was, yeah, basically. It
Did
was
you
like
have call envy?
It was like Andy Dufresne after prison. And yes, I did have call envy.
Ew. Anyway, you made me lose my train. Okay, so I think to get back to my original point, so much of like culture around waterfowl hunting also tends to take place on places like down in Texas where we go, where you're hunting off of a field, or in somebody's big marshland where they've been like, we don't have a lot of, well, we've got like little bogs that exist in deep drainages, and we've got lakes. We don't have marshes. Generally speaking, around here, especially if you want to go hunt somewhere where their geese are going to land and feed, that's a pretty big payday for someone else, and so on and so forth.
Gideon Optics says, did it get moist when it fell out, the reed? Actually, no.
The nuts dropping off the duck did when we opened our mouths.
Moving
Okay,
on.
so I'm just going to ignore that
Hey,
even
Bob
was
will
said
appreciate-
and
Bob will
say,
appreciate that one.
no, my reed didn't get moist. It fell out right next to the truck and was laying in the dirt when we got back. And I was like, neato, there it is.
At least you
So.
found it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's leaving. Anyway,
Yep, bye, Bob.
He put in his appearance.
So no, I think that's the main. 'Cause, I mean, I had never thought of it before because again, when you see pictures, it's always wetlands somewhere. Wetlands don't hardly exist in Colorado. We have a lack of water here. So when you last year like, oh, I'm going to go to 11 Mile and shoot ducks, is like, I guess.
So they're waterfowl. They like water. It doesn't have to be what you would think, quote unquote, wetlands. And I guess, to be fair, we would all have our own different definition of what wetlands, brings to mind. But to me, the area just where the river feeds 11 Mile, that's what I picture. Marshy reeds, maybe a couple foot deep water, birds in and out of there because the reeds keep them up and it keeps them safe from predators. But ducks will still land. The reason ducks like 11 Mile is there's a bunch of, I don't know if it's the algae, I don't know if it's the crustaceans on the bottom, I don't know. I haven't read enough about it, and I probably should read more. But diving or dabbler ducks love the algae nasty filled waters that you walk through and they just smell like swamp. For some reason, ducks love that. And I say this because when we were hunting, we put a stalk on some ducks and we thought there was 8 or 9, and it turns out there was about 40. And we just watched them fly away. Like, well, fuck.
A little bit.
But I walked through that area and it was thick, it was swampy, it just smelled bad. There was feathers everywhere. You could tell they loved it there. So I started looking around and looking in the water and seeing, what the dabblers would be eating on the bottom, and there was a shit ton of algae. Just so maybe anyway,
Algae
Yeah.
everywhere, not a drop to drink. So we got out there and we set up your decoys, and that was not working on Saturday
No.
whatsoever. It was a little bit too. I mean, the weather was nice, wasn't even cold at all, hardly, and
No.
so these birds aren't looking for shelter in any coves. They're just hanging out in the water, staring at us 100 yards away, going, "Oh yeah, you brought a shotgun to a rifle fight, idiot."
So what are we going to do next time?
Well, hang on. So then we decided we'd go wander on down the shore, and that actually worked, kind of. It was good.
That was a great idea. Yeah, it worked.
We were making too much noise. We did push that whole big flock. What the hell do you call a group of ducks? Flock?
I don't know, flock of geese, flock of ducks.
Group.
You can't.
I think it might be called a flack.
No, flak is what we shot at them.
We pushed a whole commune of ducks further and further away from us until they finally had enough and flew off. That was disappointing. I did the same thing. So after you and I went further and you decided to go back and check on the decoys because you saw those 4 that I had spotted later flying that direction, I sneaked, further up the bank and then thought I was like, okay, I'm right above them right now. Peeked my dumb head above because at 11 Mile, it's a reservoir. Along all the banks, you can see where they end up scraping up the dirt and made almost these little berms. Peeked my little head above the berm, and then 30 yards to my right, off fly 3 ducks. Oh, you.
Okay, so it appears that a group of ducks has multiple names, and I think it may have to do with like what they're doing at the time. So they can be called a flock, a waddling, a raft, a brood, or a team. Which I
would
get
like
all
to
of
see a
those.
raft of ducks. I think
Well,
we
that's
did
when they're on the
lake.
water, I guess. And a
Yep.
waddling is probably when they're waddling. A brood. I'm just
That would
wondering
make
what
sense.
a team. Like, what's the duck team doing?
That's
have,
when
like-
they're playing duck soccer.
No, it's
like-
hockey.
Mission Impossible.
Oh, right, because
Music
they're
in the background.
Fucking Mighty Ducks, man. Come on.
Dun,
duck,
dun,
duck,
dun,
duck,
dun,
duck, duck,
No.
duck,
There's-
duck, duck.
There's like eight ducks that are like paired up, like two, and then behind that there's this squirrel on a piece of driftwood, and all these ducks have harnesses on them. And they're just driving the ducks, a team of ducks.
This is terrible. Anyway,
I need AI to create that for me.
I'll get right on that.
Please do.
Anyway, so no.
That could be on a
first-
shirt.
The first one I shot, first ever duck, was a Drake Mallard. And I
Nice.
don't know what this chromosome lacking moron was doing hanging out of the water in the grass. But I was walking along, and on the other side, again, can't really see because there's a bit of a berm between me and the water with a bunch of trees and bushes and crap. It went and flew off, and I raised my shotgun and knew it was a little bit too far, but took a shot anyway and just watched it all sail into the freaking sunrise. And all right, fine. And then that shot spooked up this Drake Mallard 10 yards in front of me out of the grass and the reeds. And so I just swung over and shot his ass right up the ass. It was a Texas heart shot. Boop! And thought it was a hen because this is a nasty looking Drake. Old
Dude.
bastard.
He looks like Tommy Lee Jones, like the Tommy
Kind
Lee
of.
Jones of duck, just grizzled and gray and just.
I was like, oh, cool. I killed a duck. And so then I started waddling on back to meet with Mike. Waddling because I'm wearing 5 pairs of pants. Because I was expecting it to be freezing out. And by this time, like 10:30 in the morning, I'm sweating my ass off.
It was like 65 degrees at that point. It was awful.
Yeah, it was. And on the way back, I had to stop. It's like, all right, I got to shed some layers. So I stopped and shed some layers. And there's this one little duck hanging out all by itself in the water. So lacking anything else to do, I got my duck call out, just started calling at it. Mike, at this point, you were wandering closer to me or something, weren't you?
So there was. So I'd like to call out No in the comments. He says it's called duck jumping. I think I may have known that, but that it makes more sense what we were doing. We were definitely duck jumping. So we went out and we were trying to jump these stupid ducks, and I got a shot off on one. I thought she was in range. It turns out either the optic was off or I'm off, and it's probably me.
She was, I think, further out than you thought because
that's probably it.
I had a good lead on her, and I shot twice and didn't connect at all.
I think we need to back up because we glossed over the image of Sam standing there in nothing but his underwear after shedding all the layers.
We're getting there.
With a
this
shotgun.
is part of it.
This is
part of it.
No,
So-
if you want to know about that image, this is the second time this has happened.
We're getting
I
there
missed
too.
out on my first ever chance to kill a dove because I'm out there, basically down to my skivvies taking a piss, and lands a dove in front of me 15 yards away, and I don't have a shotgun with me.
Was that last year?
That was the first year. I didn't.
2 years ago.
2 years ago.
2 years ago. That's right.
Anyway,
so we're trying to jump these ducks, and we don't know how to do it really. The best we could figure was try to sneak up slow. What I learned from that is that if you sneak up slow on ducks, they can hear you and they'll slowly swim away. Like, I see you. I'm pretending I don't see you, but I see you. I'm going to move away slowly. If you get too close, I'm going to swim the fuck away.
Do you mean they
Still
can hear the
away.
jar of mayonnaise noises as you creep through the reeds?
Yes, they can hear it. Actually, we were creeping through dry ground. It's not that wet.
yeah.
So the way that the lake is basically rock surrounding the water, and it's only marshy up by the entrance where it feeds.
Oh, fun.
So anyway, we're trying to jump the duck. There's one out there that I could see. Sam was 50 yards down, and he was trying to jump the other ones. So we get close. This one duck was swimming away. I could see her, just kept getting down, popped up, took a shot. Thing was right on her, and I missed. And that's just how shotguns go. So I take another shot real quick, missed again, and then I finally take a third careful shot, and you're right, she was much further away than I expected her to be, because when I shot, I was leading her pretty good. Like, she was outside the ring of the advocate, and when I fired, my shot hit behind her. I could see, like, there was a split second delay and then a bunch of splashes behind her as she flew off. I was like, fuck.
Yeah, when I shot at her, I knew she was out of range, but I was like, well, there's nothing else for it.
So the reason that's important to this whole story is because on our little duck stalk, after we scared up those 40 ducks, I'm on my way back to the decoys, thinking maybe they'll decoy into those. And Sam ran off towards the marshy land to. There was 4 ducks sitting on the water that he saw. He was going to go try to get a shot on them, and that's when he ended up shooting his drake. But I'm sitting, as I'm walking back to the decoys, I see the same duck. I'm pretty sure it's the same duck sitting out all by herself in the middle of the water. And it made me think maybe I winged her, maybe I wounded her, and that's why she's not, like, flying off, swimming off, anything like that. But I'm using my teal call because it's all I got. My reed fell out of my mallard call. Found it later by the truck. And she's not responding to that. She heard that and she was like, nope, see ya. Started swimming off. So while Sam, after he has already shot his mallard, I'm assuming, I hear from my right, quack, 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 quack. And I look over and I don't see anything, but I see 2 ducks in the water swimming towards the noise. And I see the duck I just had shot at on my way in there that I'm trying to quack at to get to come to me. She's swimming away from me. Fuck my calls. She hears Sam and she goes, whoop, beeline straight towards him. And I was like, you bitch. And he didn't even get a shot at her.
No, I didn't. So I started calling to that one because it's the one duck I saw that was not out there in the raft or float, where the hell you called it, Vince. That duck started peeling to my left eventually, and then I saw 2 more coming in from my right, and said, well, 2 is better than 1. So I quit calling, and then low crawled about 70 yards to try and get a shot on these two that were coming, just basically floating in with the waves closer to shore. And rather they didn't intend to do it, two guys fishing on a boat kept pushing them towards me to the point that it's like now they're too close and I can't shoot. And so I stood up where I could see them and they could see me, but the ducks couldn't see us in the middle. And I waved and they said, "Oh, there's a guy right there." And so they moved on. And then so I creeped up, got a spot where I could see a duck out in the water, and trying to be respectful to Dave's sensibilities, I stood up and waited for the damn duck to fly off, and it didn't. So I swatted the shit out of her. Like I gave her a chance.
I missed a duck sitting in the water. I'm still gonna try to shoot at him in the water until I start hitting him.
I gave her a chance to fly away. She didn't take it, so I shot her, and I should have taken a picture of it because it was, it was a beautiful sight. Just the duck floating dead in the water with this lovely blood trail coming out from its head.
When we were,
and her partner down the way didn't react to the gunshot at all, but at that point that duck was 50 yards away, but it did react to be going in the water and it fluttered off. That was the end of that. And that was the hen Gadwallian.
Gadwally.
So anyway, that's my two ducks. And so I got back to you at the decoys and like, hey, look what I got.
I knew you got one. I was pissed you got two.
Mm-hmm. So I got back to you like, hey, look what I got. I fed you. I gave you a donut in the morning. You should be grateful.
You did, and I was very grateful because that was the only food I had till dinner.
That's good donuts too.
I never ate any of my food. It was really good.
So anyway, dropped those two guys off, and then we sat there and called a bit, and nothing was flying in. And then we decided to go back and check up that same cove again, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then we're trying to jump the ducks in the cove, and we're wandering around, making sure we're staying low and staying far enough away from the water. We don't spook them, but trying to move fast or be quiet. And we see there's all these freaking coots that are starting to drift into that same cove. We're all getting pumped. Like, this is it. We're going to freaking go up there. And because the limit on coot is 15?
Yep.
Yeah, we're just going to massacre them. And hopefully there's some free ducks in there too. And lo and behold, as we're doing our sneak, we look over again to try and gauge how far we are, and these two pricks in a kayak quietly float, just drift in amongst all the coot, and just let loose with two shotguns and kill like 9 of the damn things.
And probably a couple ducks, which they were probably, I'm willing to bet they shot a couple ducks and they got coot
then
by
went after
default.
The coot.
Yeah,
because they must have been getting some doubles, because I'm pretty sure I saw more dead bodies in the water than I heard shots.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, they took shots at ducks and got coots, and also
then the whole bunch of coot fly away. And here's Mike and I left standing on the shore like a couple of idiots, watching these guys paddle back and forth, collecting all their coots and ducks. And that's the moment I knew I needed to buy a kayak or a canoe.
Now, any long-time listener will remember, possibly, I barely do, last year duck hunting, when I was hunting at Pueblo, I saw the coot in the middle of the lake, and I was like, man, if I had a way to get out there into the water, I could shoot a coot right now. But the water, the way Pueblo works, 11 Mile, you can walk out pretty far. It's pretty shallow until right in the middle. Yeah. Pueblo gets deep real quick, so you can put your decoys about 3 feet from shore. It wasn't really ideal, to be honest. Anyway, I see the coot, and I'm like, man, if only I had a boat. And then a couple of weeks ago, I did that vet fishing trip where we were on a boat, and we were floating around, and we went by the islands of 11 Mile because apparently that's good fishing. Well, I can tell you this. It'll be good ducking if only I had a boat. There's a theme here.
I have a boat.
Sam got a boat.
And it's a big one.
The theme is midlife crisis.
I have reached my midlife crisis. Luckily for me, my midlife crises are cheap. We're sitting there. I mean, after watching those two dudes just slaughter all those coot, it's like, all right, I'm done with this decoy life. Like, screw decoys. I want to do
decoys will be for the river later this winter.
Yeah.
Like,
but just in my head, I'm like, oh, this sucks. I want to do that. So we go on freaking Facebook Marketplaces. We're walking back and getting packed up. I'm like, dude, I found a 17-foot canoe in Castle Rock, which is a town not far from me, for $50. And we're hemming and hawing a little bit about it and thinking, I'm going to do it, I think. And so, but by the time I drove out of there, got back in cell range, somebody had bought it. It's like, oh, damn it. We bought my canoe. And about 10 minutes later, I found another one, 4 miles from where I live, basically, listed for $120 for the same. It's a Coleman Ram X 17. So it's a plastic, bodied canoe. It's got a little bit of warping in it, but not bad. 17 footer, including paddles and the cheapest life vests you could possibly imagine, and some really worn out rope to tie it onto the car. And so I bought it when I got home and put it on top of the car. And Mike, do you remember when you and I are sitting there pacing out what 17 feet is?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it turns out I paced out 9 feet plus 2, so 11 feet. So when I showed up and actually saw, oh, wait, no, that's 17 feet. It's like, oh.
Yeah, I told
that's
you,
big.
17 feet's about the length of the Prado.
Yeah,
Prado's
and I
21 feet or so.
I just miscounted. So
Yeah, Daijoubu.
But anyway, bought it. Took it out to Palmer Lake on Sunday to make sure it doesn't sink. It does not sink.
Excellent.
And so going to take it up with us. We're going to be up by Silverthorne at Lake Dillon over the weekend. So I'll take it up there again. Float around in it. Maybe try to do a little bit of fishing out of it. So yeah, I have a canoe. And then the weekend after I get back, we're going with the canoe back up there, and we are going to go paddle out into the middle of the lake and try not to shoot any boats.
Definitely shoot island ducks, though.
See, when frickin' Montana Dirt Road says this sounds like a National Lampoon movie, I think he's right.
I'm fine with it.
Yep.
I put the frickin' boat on top of my car, and the canoe on top of my car, and the first thing that came to mind was, hey, Griswold, where are you going to put a canoe that big?
Bend over, I'll show you.
You got a lot of nerve talking to me like that.
Was it talking to you?
So I remember talking a while back about converting my whitewater kayak that I haven't used in 12 years into a duck boat. And so I think what I'm going to do is actually buy this boat from this dude on Marketplace. I went through same thing Sam did, but I wanted to get a kayak for my solo trips.
Yeah.
So I'm scrolling through Marketplace and I find one that I was like, the hell? What is that? And so I messaged the dude. It's got this big black hole in the middle of it right in front of the dude. And I messaged the dude. I was like, is that a toilet hole? And then I started thinking about it. And I was like, or is it a storage hole? And he's like, oh, it's a storage hole. People put fish in there. Or, if you're clever, ice and beer. And I was like, ooh, fish. No, beer does not excite me. And I'm just kidding. Anyway, so I get to talking to the dude about it, and turns out of all of the kayaks that I could find on Marketplace, this one is pretty suitable. So I made an offer, and I was going to go pick it up tomorrow. However, I can't do that anymore. I broke my truck. So I was
strapped it to the top of the Miata.
Number one, how dare you call my car a Mazda?
That was great.
Dirty whore.
Second of all, you should just definitely do it.
Second of all, don't fucking tempt me.
Do it before somebody else buys it.
Oh, he said he'd hold it for me.
Oh, sure.
And if not, I know the brand. I know the style, kind of, so I can find another one if he does want to let it go. But hopefully, I can get the truck fixed on Thursday, go pick it up on Friday, and then...
So you're clear to take a non-motorized vehicle into 11 Mile without getting a watercraft inspection for it.
Mm-hmm.
You may want to double check that, though. My ambition at some point is to get a trolling motor for this canoe so I can, canoodle around under power. But at that point, then it has to be registered, because then it's a motorized watercraft, and then it would have to be inspected, which is lame, but oh well. Mm-hmm. And I'll probably end up getting a solo kayak too, because after trying to wrestle with this, 17-foot, 85-pound giant length of plastic,
by yourself.
I can lift it and I can get it on the car, but it is a pain in the butt. So with 2 people, it's a lot smoother. So I'll probably get a little one for solo stuff. But
That's kind of, I figured you would eventually, but like the canoe when we do these dual hunts, it's going to be great.
oh, especially because the weight capacity on the 17 footer is like 3 persons and I mean I know total weight capacity is like 740 pounds. I can't remember what it says on the label inside of it, but it's 3 persons and 600 pounds of gear, or like 740 pounds total. I can't remember. You can get a lot of crap in there.
That's
That's
just a suggestion anyway.
Well, it
Yeah.
is, especially because I saw pictures online of people attaching coolers on either side of their canoe to both stabilize it and to give somewhere to put beer. I was like, oh, this is the biggest, best redneck thing I've ever seen.
They're
yeah.
stabilizing it.
Igloo pontoons.
Exactly.
Pigloo tunes.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Um,
I'm interested to see how this is going to work with shotguns.
yeah, I'm thinking if you're going to be up in the bow shooting at things, you need to shoot forward and try not to shoot too much to the left or the right, and don't stand.
I mean, I can not break the 180. I know how to do that.
I'm more worried about you taking a shot to the right or something, and
Recoil induced rollover.
Yeah.
Mm.
if we
That's-
both shoot, if we
You
both
might
shoot-
want those pontoons anyway.
if we
Yeah.
both shoot in the same direction, maybe we can just 360 it,
Dude, that's a great idea.
just ride it
Let's-
all the way around.
Let's shotgun ourselves into a whirlpool.
It's like that video with Dude Perfect, and he's paddling it with shotguns, just shooting the water. And just,
And you see all these fucking dudes fishing 11 Mile as they troll past going, what the fuck are those dudes doing? Just shooting. They just see shotguns, bang, 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 and the canoe's just rotating slowly.
oh my God, it's Jason Bourne.
Yeah, that'll be fine. I was doing some research on benefits of duck hunting from a canoe or kayak, and I don't know. It all seems pretty straightforward. Like, yeah, more mobility. Okay, cool. Okay,
You can go places
Personal
other
use.
people won't go.
yeah, but drawbacks, limited storage. I think that's more of a kayak problem than a canoe problem. You
I
can
think
get a
it's a
lot of
canoe
crap
problem.
in a canoe. No, you can
I
get
was
a lot
going to
of
say
crap in a
you
canoe.
can carry
it
way
doesn't-
more in a canoe than you can pockets.
It means storage of things on
Yeah.
a boat, not storage of the boat.
Oh yeah, storage of the boat. I've got to build a couple. I got to build up a couple.
I misunderstood
smaller
that.
Carpet. Weather exposure. Then one of them was physical fatigue because paddling is tiring. Like, no shit, Sherlock. Thank you.
Kayak paddle.
Actually, no. I was getting the hang of the canoe paddle and getting the they call it like a J stroke or a Canadian stroke, where you don't sit there and switch back and forth. You just
Yeah,
paddle
you-
from the one side and then you kick off at the end to rudder
Mhm.
back going straight. And so I was practicing that. And it's like, oh, I actually like this. So it'll be fine.
Kayak paddle.
But at some point, trolling motor.
You looked much into the boat inspection and registration stuff? Because I'm remembering, I grew up. I did not go in the canoe. In fact, the canoe still lives in the squeezer's yard. But my grandparents had a canoe, and it was yellow. They called it the Unsinkable Molly Brown, but it had one of the Colorado registration stickers on it. And maybe that was because Grandpa possibly used it for trolling, and it had to be because as a motorized craft, it had to be. But it
Well,
maybe
if it is a motorized craft, which putting a trolling motor would make it motorized. So yeah, it would have to be registered with Parks and Wildlife.
Gotcha.
If it's got a motor or a sail, it has to be on public waters. So
Is there a
But I'm
length
fine.
limit for registration, or is it just unpowered?
I mean,
That's
it's-
my concern.
I read powered and unpowered was the
Okay.
differentiator. So anyway,
Gideon Optics says, I call it the J stroke or going southpaw. Wait, never mind. Not boat related. That's our Bobbert.
Is he suggesting he surfs the internet with his left hand? I don't want to think about this too much. Anyway.
Back to ducks. I don't want to hear about Bob ducking himself.
Oh, Vince. You just gave me an idea, Vince, which is to put one of those little troll dolls on the trolling motor. Rubber banded on.
Oh, we could go for the famed triple entendre.
What if you melted 3 different troll dolls into a propeller blade and then mounted those to an actual prop mount, and then you would have a trolling motor made of trolls?
You would have hydrodynamic inefficiencies, is what you would have.
No, if you melted
word.
and flattened them into propeller blades, they would be made of troll. They would just no longer be troll-like, and they
This
might
sounds like
also
a lot
still
of
have their
work.
hair.
This sounds
That's
like a lot
okay.
of work. He's talking about producing molten troll dolls and casting them into a propeller.
Yes.
Still not following.
All right, never mind. But no, that's
It'll be-
exciting. I do want to
It'll be a
build
hairy prop.
some. I mean, we'll take it up and we'll noodle or we'll canoe with it up in the mountains. You and I will probably take it out as is at least once, and then from there, once we've established some deficiencies, like does this thing roll over if we shoot a shotgun off the port bow?
I want that
Then I'll-
tested. Actually,
So do I. And then I'll worry about
intentionally.
Oh yeah,
Like the first thing, both of you just don't put anything in it. Just go out there and like
in the shallow water
Both
to where
of
we
them.
can't tip over. We both port to the left.
present left,
3,
fire.
1.
The answer is yes. We got wet.
So anyway, and then
Wait,
I'll worry about putting a couple outriggers.
Neither of
on.
you has a double rifle, do you? Or double shotgun? You need double barrel and volley fire that sucker.
I could bring the 1187. It'll only fire once, but
I
could
can
bring
hold
it.
2 shotguns at once.
That's what I'm
I
saying.
accept
like,
all of these things.
And then I got to put some trolling mounts on it, and then yeah, it'll be fine.
dude, 4 shotgun power canoe. That's a great idea.
I mean, there's no such thing as. Oh man, Jeff's gonna send me an email later. There's no such like for fishing. You can get a spare rod stamp. There's no spare shotgun stamp, is there?
Second shotgun
I've got a
stamp.
whole canoe. How many shotguns can I carry in my canoe? They're all capped at 2+1.
You get stopped. What the hell? I don't like reloading.
Sam's gonna get a statue named after
When
him.
it goes empty, I throw it overboard and grab
What
the
I'm
one.
thinking is, you just get a couple, just have some gun mounts on the side. Yeah, you just pull one and shoot. That one's empty. Next one up. Boom, boom, boom. Next one up. Boom, boom, boom.
Legitimately, though, I've already looked at some sort of boat gun strap, and I think the answer is just a 2-point sling with 1 point attached to a vest and the other, or a hard point on the boat, and the other attached to the point, at some point of the rifle.
Montana Dirt Roads has the right idea. Is there any law on putting them on a turret?
See, this should be the very scenario you bring up if anyone's like, you don't need a belt-fed shotgun. Like, this is why you do, so that you can use it as both your trolling motor and as your legal means of take. You just have to use the short belt whenever you're actually hunting.
You hold up the belt to CPW. Yes, it only holds 3 rounds. See, here's my magazine.
What about the 50-round belt in your belt? Oh, that one's the motor.
That's
Yeah.
fuel, sir.
Do you want to see how the motor works? So hop in. Let's go for a ride. Bang, bang, bang.
That's fuel, sir. Jeez.
Gideon Optics wanted to know if the recoil's enough to flip you. It's like, I don't know if it is. However, I doubt it's enough to flip. But kayaks are more stable than canoes, generally speaking, is my understanding. If you stand up in it, you can definitely get a little wobble. If you lean too much to one side, it definitely starts leaning with you. I don't think it's enough to flip. My legitimate concern is basically just knowing what recoil going 90 degrees off the side would feel like, so that nobody's caught off guard because he's going to shoot at ducks over there on the right, but I'm paddling and leaning over to my left, and so the whole thing's actually cockeyed in one direction anyway. It's more of a just getting a feel for it type of thing.
I think
Kinda
it'll
like-
be more buoyant than we're really giving it credit for.
I thought canoes were more stable than kayaks. I mean, the wider something is in comparison to its length, the more stable it's going to be.
Maybe so. This one's 17 feet long and 36 inches across at its widest point.
Now,
The
there's
problem
also,
is
like,
canoes and
the
kayak.
shape-
Like,
The shape
ahead.
of the bottom also plays into that. But
yeah, my whitewater boat with a big round bottom is not very stable. The one I'm gonna buy with a flat bottom is gonna be much more stable. But I would think that kayaks in length versus width, I don't. I think they would win. They're a little bit more
I
squatty.
think it depends on the. I don't know. I'm not even going to talk to this. I thought, but whatever. One way or the other. I just want to make sure. You know,
You know,
again,
you know
it's
it's
just
perfectly
getting a feel
stable.
for it.
A balloon. We're gonna row. We're gonna a tube, a water tube. We're gonna attach a water tube behind the kayak, and the hunter's gonna sit on the tube
They make
behind a
frickin'
ski
boats.
rope.
There's one in Shields. They make little freaking water. I don't even know what the hell to call it, but it's a circle.
Oh, the little inner tube with a motor. I've seen
No.
those.
Yeah, it's not even an inner tube. It's a freaking solid circle now. They got one in Shields. I don't even know what to call it. It's like a circle.
Oh,
with a
I've seen
chair in the
those.
middle.
A
It's
circle
like a
boat.
circle with a chair in the middle. It's a circle
You look like
boat.
a fucking buoy.
Gideon Optics asks if we have a GoPro. Mike does have a GoPro.
Yes,
He does.
it should. He wants to see this on. We will definitely get this on film.
Oh yeah, it'll be great. It'll work fine.
Montana dirt roads. The answer is skull can.
What?
The answer is skull can.
What's the question?
it's not what
Hung
he
like a
asked.
skull can. It is what he asked.
He
Age-old
asked
question.
age-old
length or
question.
width. Skull can.
Length
Okay.
or width? You forgot to mention that part for the
I
audience. You did. You just said the answer is skull can.
Yeah. You didn't say the question.
On purpose.
Dip.
For mystery.
We
All right.
don't get it.
If
That's
you tell
all I
them everything.
All right. Well, that's all I got. We killed ducks. I got a canoe. I have good big plans for the canoe. I feel like we should give it some kind of name, but that's ironic. The first thing that popped into mind was the Venture because that's the ship that back in the original King Kong movie that they crash into Skull Island with. And then
How about
Bismarck
we- let's-
came up a couple times. Yamato came up once.
Let's see if
Monitor
we-
came up
SS.
let's see if we get some ducks with it, and if we can successfully get lots of ducks with it, we will call it the Quacken, and that way, when we go duck hunting, we are releasing the Quacken.
You could name your kayak that. I'm not doing that.
Just name it the.
I would have to
Jenny
name it the
Get on with it.
Kai.
I thought about
Quacken.
naming it Jen A. Vince, but
No. Just name yours Getting Ducked Up. I was also going to go with SS Moist.
that'll work. All right.
Oh boy.
So
Yes.
I want to do some trolling up there with it too. This is going to be. It's funny. My wife and I were talking about tandem kayak, and now we've got even better because we can put both of us in it. And well, we didn't put our 1-year-old in it, but most of the family in there too. So
Yeah, that's how'd the kids like it? Did you just go up to the lake with Grace, or did you take other?
we had everybody with us. My
Nice.
in-laws had my daughter over the weekend, so they were able to stay on shore and watch the 6-month-old dude while the rest of us paddled out in the middle and tried to kind of create some kind of big family tragedy, but didn't succeed. So we just came back.
Fair.
It would have been a great origin story for my 6-month-old. Like my entire family drowned in a canoeing accident, but no dice.
In a
he
lake in
named
the middle of a
Frodo?
town in calm weather.
Yeah, calm weather, but I was paddling, so no, his name is not Frodo, but I appreciate the reference. All right, that's all I got. Someone save me from myself.
All right, so I've got an interesting thing that I want to run through it real quick, and then we can talk about it, and then see how long it takes, but shouldn't take too long. Many of you have been listening to us drone on and on and on at the end of our episodes, Vote no on Proposition 127, the ban on kitty cat hunting in Colorado. Okay, what is that? Why are we
Up
voting no?
6 weeks later.
Here, I mean, we brought it up briefly back in like April, May, March, something like that. But I have some actual talking points because we're coming up on election season, and I think that anybody that actually lives in this state should go out and maybe talk to some of the people that they think they would listen to them and ask them if they were planning on voting on Prop 127 and how they were planning on voting for it and why. And if they're...
I need to break in for one moment,
Go ahead.
and then I'll shut the hell up. If you don't live in Colorado, this crap still pertains to you.
Yep.
Because this this ballot biology is the freaking catchphrase for it, right? Ballot
Ballot
biology.
box
Ballot
biology.
box.
Okay,
ballot
ballot
box.
box biology. BBB.
Boo.
This crap is not just a Colorado problem. This crap started in freaking California back in the 90s. It made its way to Colorado in the 90s. All the money supporting this garbage is not coming from Colorado. It's coming from out of state. This crap will start hopping from state to state to state, especially if it proves it's already proved successful in Colorado what was it, 4 years ago?
With the wolves.
Yeah, 4 years.
It's the thing that everybody who wants the wolves to
2021.
come back don't live where the wolves are going to be.
Exactly.
So my only point is, you can sit there and go, oh, it's just freaking Colorado again. I don't hunt in Colorado. I don't live in Colorado. Blah, 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 blah. Nope, this crap will start making its way around. Especially, I don't know how you all feel about whether it's going to pass here or not, but it will freaking end up cutting here one way or the other.
Another thing you can do is, even though you don't live in Colorado, if you know somebody who does, who is not one of these three lunatics,
Hey,
call them,
diagnosed.
ask them, talk to them. Anyway, Mike, continue.
Take it away.
So, why is this important? Why are we even talking about it? Let's get into that right from the start. It is an attack on hunting. It is an attack on the way of life that a lot of us have fallen in love with. It's an attack on a way of life that a lot of us, not me specifically, but we use to eat, to live, to survive, to be people. And the people that come up with things like this, the guy who pushed this proposition in Colorado was interviewed, and he was quoted as saying, "Because I don't want them to." Because he came up with this proposition solely because he does not want people hunting cats in Colorado. It is solely an opinion. What follows, everything that follows the proposition, why it's being proposed, what it's supposed to ban, etc., is all false. Every bit of it. Why do I say that? And am I going to say that without retorting to it? Absolutely not. I got a whole list of shit here. But I say that, why is it a ban on hunting? Because when you start off piecemeal banning stuff, we've heard it before with gun control, and look where we're at with that. Regardless of where your stance on that, some states have very strict gun control because they started with one law and the people said, okay, this is fine. This is the very same thing. Right now it's banning cat hunting. The next it's going to be, oh, well, we don't want you taking coyotes. Coyotes should be protected because you have no reason. You don't even eat coyotes. You just go out there and you slaughter them mercilessly. Does this really sound familiar? It should. So let me get into my talking points. Why is it important? The bill purports to ban all mountain lion, lynx, and bobcat hunting in an effort to ban trophy hunting. What I've got coming up are a list of talking points to bring up with your family and friends that live in Colorado and are of voting age so that you can hopefully urge them to vote no for this. Here's our list of facts. Lynx are already protected in Colorado. Why are they making a bill to ban hunting lynx? Until the 60s, there was a bounty on mountain lions because they were considered a vermin species just like coyotes and prairie dogs. CPWs put a stop to that because their numbers dwindled so badly. And since then, they have flourished. They are thriving species. some people would say there's an unlimited number of licenses. You can go out and kill all the cats you want. Sure, there's an unlimited number of licenses, but that doesn't mean there's an unlimited number of cats harvested. There's a quota every day for harvest that every hunter must check before they hunt in that unit. Dave and Sam have done the training that I'm about. There is a mandatory training program hunters must complete with CPW online before they hunt cats. This is the training that Sam and Dave have done. This training includes differences in gender and identification of adolescents from adults. Differences in gender are important because it's illegal to shoot a female cat with kittens or a kitten. I'm sure there's laws about adolescents and stuff that Dave and Sam can speak on when I finish up here, but that's the big point there, that they're already a managed game species. As such, they are required to be prepared for human consumption, which means taking all edible meat, including the backstrap, tenderloins, and I put both quarters, but that means all quarters, all 4 quarters.
You gotta eat the butt cheeks.
Yeah, definitely got to eat the kitty cat cheeks. So, not preparing the meat is a crime called wasting and is a felony in Colorado. That applies.
Also known as wanton waste.
Yes, you're correct. So it's a major crime. You can lose firearm rights, voting rights for committing it. So explain to me why we're trying to make trophy hunting cats illegal when they're a big game species. We're not trophy hunting them. There is no trophy hunting for cats. Yes, people display their kills. We have taxidermy. Taxidermy is a thing, but it's no different from an elk or a deer display. Trophy hunting for cats or any other species is already illegal in Colorado. There's even laws on having contests, hunting or fishing contests that are not exclusively sanctioned. Here's the real thing. Again, we go back to the unlimited licenses. Great. They are incredibly elusive, skittish creatures. In other words, they're fucking cats. Anybody ever had a cat? Good luck hunting them. A born hunter with night vision is going to get the better of you most of the time. That's why we use dogs. The terrain to hunt them is incredibly rough, and they are not in any way easy to hunt. A lot of the law a lot of Prop 127 is focused on the dog hunting, claiming it's inhumane. But how else are you supposed to... Okay, number one. How else are you supposed to go...
Hang on. Do this at the end. Because I have things to say about this too.
Okay, fair enough. In any case, bobcat hunting is also on the proposition. Bobcat hunting is similar in every single way. You can't waste the meat. You can't kill females with kittens. It all applies. It's all the same. So what I'm urging is copy these talking points. Most of it is in the show notes. Take the show notes, copy them, go talk to the friends and family you have in Colorado and urge them to vote no. I have already sent these talking points to people I don't even like, that I used to work with at Buckley, and I asked them to vote no because I know it's not going to do any good, because frankly, the fact that so many military members don't vote pisses me off, but that's a talk for another time. Comments?
Another reason why...
Sorry. What? I just woke up. What?
Fuck you, Sam.
Another reason why guys use dogs is for identification. So when you tree a cat, you can actually fucking see what you're going after.
I was about to say it's an almost preferred method, because then you have the time to check the plumbing and go girl or boy.
And then if it's wrong, you take dog away and you go find a different cat.
And then all you have is a pissed off cat. Great, it's a cat. It's already pissed off.
I mean, rolling back up to the top, lynx, that would just make hunting lynx or trapping lynx double illegal. Like,
it's already illegal. You can't make it any illegaler.
As for unlimited licenses, I can't remember the stats I read off the top of my head on how many licenses are pulled each year or maybe purchased each year for cats. but the average harvest number is like 400 to 500 per year. That's a drop in the bucket overall. The Colorado's cat population has been increasing ever since, basically they became a protected species and then a game species. And this is the other thing you got to remind people of too. Just because it becomes illegal to hunt them doesn't mean you're saving any cats' lives. The same number of cats will be marked for death every single year, no matter what difference is.
That's the big thing.
Rather than being able to pawn off that job, essentially. I mean, CPW still wants 400 to 500 cats per year dead. Not because they want them dead because they're mean, because that's part of their management model. That means someone else, they're going to have to pawn that off on, right now they can pawn that off on hunters. They don't have to spend resources. They actually gain resources.
Important talking point I have to cut in. I apologize. I missed it, but CPW manages these animals just like they manage every other game species, and they manage it on a very specific model of conservation and biology that guys with fucking doctorates in wildlife biology are coming up with. These are actual scientists they're wildlife scientists that are coming up with these models for conservation and biology. So that's a huge thing to bring up with your family and friends as well, because they, same people that claim to follow the science are completely ignoring the science and want to ban you from hunting something just because they said so.
The number of tags issued and the quotas every year that are to be harvested is an ecologically driven number that is arrived upon by people who are much smarter than the four of us, that have boots on the ground and know what the environment needs based on the predator to prey ratio. Go look up the numbers in California and how many cats are killed every year, because there are cats killed every year, hundreds of them, but it's at the taxpayer's expense because those game wardens and other game officers have to go do the killing for the people. The people are not participating in the harvest of those animals.
Nor do they get to eat the meat.
I do not know if the meat gets eaten in those cases in California.
Oh, I can't. What I was saying is people don't get the pleasure of hunting and then eating the meat is what
right. I know, but I don't know if that gets utilized at all.
That's a really good question.
Like, are you going to go donate that to your local soup kitchen?
Yeah.
Like,
guess what we're having tonight, boys?
Pulled pork. That's what
looks like meat's back on the menu, boys.
California's a great example of how this has massively failed. They did this back in the 90s, and now they have an overpopulation of cats that are killing pets, wildlife, all sorts of things because they're not being managed.
Right, because their Department of Wildlife can't keep up.
Right.
Because they don't have the numbers or the funding. Because you can never outfund someone who wants to do something. And people want to go out and participate in conservation and go harvest a big old kitty cat. And it can be a lot of fun, too.
I'd love to do my part and harvest a kitty cat, but it's a tough hunt, man.
And people will pay for the privilege to do that, which is the other side of it.
And they won't. And so, they're going to be losing money overall. So there goes your conservation dollars. Because again, if this fight, if their whole proposition is they'll run under two different, well, they don't run necessarily under the auspices of, we're saving animal lives. That's kind of a side product. But their main thing they shove off of, because it's the talking point that works, is the whole retarded trophy hunting angle.
Yeah.
That absolute bullcrap. That I have actually talked to people who they're avid hunters who we've been propagandized for the past however many decades, ever since freaking Bambi came out, that trophy hunting is bad. Because trophy is bad. Yeah, because trophy hunting. So trophy, like that word, those two.
I'd have shot Bambi's mom.
I'd have shot her twice.
I'd have shot her, because you would have missed
every
the
day
first
and twice
time.
on Sunday.
Anyway, they have created such a cultural anathema to the phrase trophy hunting, that
Good
they can
word
tack
usage.
that on anything they want to. And even hunters will go, oh yeah, trophy hunting bad.
Mm-hmm.
What the hell's wrong with deciding, nope, I want to kill the damn big elk because I want the big fucking trophy on my wall. Now, there is an issue there if you only take the freaking skull off and then leave the meat to rot. If you do that,
Right.
you're an asshole. So laws that mandate that, okay, fine and fair. But no, we've created such a freaking culture around, oh, trophy hunting bad, that's how they get away with this crap, because they just tag it onto, oh, it's evil because it's trophy hunting. And I work for these kind of people. They say crap like, well, that's not the kind of state I want to live in. That's not the culture I want to have. People who freaking their idea of going outside and being in nature is going on a walk 2 miles outside the city on a freaking cultured trail.
So my question is, what about the people who lived here before you, and what about their culture? Does that not fucking matter to you at all? Obviously not. That's
No.
what really pisses me off about the whole thing.
But we don't need to get too stuck on that one. My whole point is, don't let people throw this whole trophy hunting concept in your face as a trump
Right.
card, because that's what they've been trying to culturally get everyone to do for generations now.
The easy trump to that trump card is trophy hunting's already illegal in Colorado.
It is, yes. But again, that they try and turn it into some feely thing, like, oh, that doesn't feel good.
If you want to spark a conversation,
That's what I'm saying.
about
Is
it,
you just
if you get
go ahead.
into the, trophy hunting's wrong, ask them what trophy hunting is. Just ask them. Be very intentional. Like, so what is trophy hunting? And you'll get an answer, and then you can either acknowledge that their answer is correct or correct the answer, and then fill them in on the whole, that's already illegal here. That's not what this is banning. This is just a ban on cat hunting because somebody wants to ban cat hunting.
It's an arbitrary ban because somebody said so.
Yep.
And honestly, the people that are going to vote for it don't hunt. The hunters that do vote for it have been misled because, what Sam said, trophy hunting bad. Hopefully hunters don't vote for it, but...
I mean, I've caught myself saying this too, because again, you've been so browbeaten into but you get that mindset of like, well, I only hunt for the meat. It's like, wait a minute. You're saying that because it's a softer way to try and present it to someone, because someone looks at you who's a non-hunter and goes, well, you're hunting because you want dead animals on your wall. It's like, well, no, I only hunt for the meat. It's like, hold it.
Dead animals on your walls cost a lot of money. I don't know if you know this.
Hunting for the meat can definitely be a primary drive, but we end up talking ourselves into a weaker position by kowtowing to their language in terms of like, oh yeah, well, no, actually I'm one of the good ones. I only hunt for the meat. Like, nah, screw that. Like, don't freaking kowtow to their language. Don't play into their book. I'm going off on a tangent right now. Sorry.
That's what
this
we
kind
do.
of stuff makes me mad because it's a freaking it's social engineering and not in some conspiracy theory Alex Jones way. Like, no,
you gotta just lean into it. That's what you're saying. I mean, like,
well, basically own it and don't let them browbeat
like,
you.
no, I like
trophy hunting.
I hunt because I like to take animals apart bit by bit. That's why I do it.
And then eat them because they're fucking delicious.
And eat them.
Have you ever
you know what? There's the cool
something?
part.
It's fantastic.
If you ever skinned
so
a beaver,
relaxing.
It is not fantastic.
No, especially if it's
not
still
relaxing.
wet.
Oh, it's so great when you get one and you just get like a run of the skin when you're pulling it down and it just comes off. Like, oh, it's fantastic.
When you actually get going on one, yeah, but like Mike, you were there. Getting those beaver out, you get the back where it's all gristly and connected, and you're just dulling one blade after another. It's like, this sucks.
I assume Vince is talking about any and all animals that you skin, where you get that one point. It just,
I know.
Because yes, I know what you mean. You see the people skinning, and they're like, choop, choop. No, go like this, pull, cut, and it'll just fall. It's great.
It's like getting a run with the scissors, but
in the Christmas paper.
Yeah, but much more primal than that. Much deeper satisfaction.
So true.
Fair.
Ooh, yeah. You know what? Ty says stuff in the wild doesn't die peacefully in bed surrounded by family and friends. Nature's violent.
Because Bambi had
actually
friends. I'm sure they were all around.
Ty actually shot a CWD deer the other day.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Zombie
it
deer?
was gross looking. Yeah, it was nasty. Right in the middle of a set of corrals, just standing there.
Did it a favor.
Yeah, for sure.
It.
Burn it.
Gideon Optics says we're at the point where almost all laws passed are Super Troopers worthy. You can't get any illegal. It's already illegal. Like, kind of,
They're sure gonna
it's like
try.
they're passing laws just to either justify their existence or actually be draconian. I'm not sure which. There's a study that came out a while back that accused Congress of not having any need to exist since 1974. Yet look at all the thousands of laws they've passed since then. Like, we've been good since 74.
Yeah. Let's see.
Anyway,
Rounding this
Getting a little
back up.
deep on that one.
Yeah, I'm skimming the points around, but I mean, I think we touched on most of it. Bobcat hunting. Yeah, pretty much same set of laws surrounding that. The season for those guys is only 2 months long, so that's a very narrow window. And I have
Those
Go.
those are actually like unlimited tags. You don't. There isn't a quota that you have to check every day. But
Bobcat,
you,
no.
yeah, for bobcat. But you still have to get a bobcat seal. So every cat that gets killed in Colorado legally has to be inspected, whether it's lion or bobcat.
That's another great point that I didn't even know about, actually. So, good job.
Yeah, no knows what I'm saying. No knows. That
No,
yeah, it's just like saying you only use the meat.
No.
Like, no,
No
you
means
use
no.
everything. You know, the gut and everything used to feed coyotes, cats, and bears. The bones are for dog food. The hides used for gloves. If you go that deep into it, I haven't gone that deep into it yet. You know,
Is that Jeff?
I don't think so. I have no idea who no is.
No,
I do not know who no.
That is not Squeezer. I have a feeling if he had a YouTube, he would also not name it Squeezer.
No.
Anywho, so hopefully,
I agree, Bobbert. He said we've got 250 years worth of laws. We're good for a while. You're fired.
Oh, okay.
Sounds good.
oh, it's Mike. It's cool. It's cool, Mike.
That's that
Oh, it's
Mike.
good, Mike.
It's good.
Oh.
Mike. Sorry, yeah, good Mike, not cool Mike. Cool
Fuck you
Mike,
guys.
different guy. We have cool Mike, our Mike, and good Mike.
Why am I just our Mike?
'Cause
Why
you
can't I be
grow up
like
property.
Is
You
out
know
of
what
my
you've done.
comrade.
shit?
You got that one. You got me, Vince. I was about to get there, but you, good man. Our Mike, all right.
I don't know how I feel about this.
Oh boy. But no, I mean, you know, one of the weirdest spots I saw a lot of opposition to this is actually people, you know, urging others to vote no, is on Vince's favorite haunt, Reddit. I made the mistake of going there, and it came up on the R Denver or something, people talking about Proposition 127. Turns out there's actually a lot of opposition for it on Reddit, of all places, which
Interesting.
is a giant liberal cesspool. Which
is
is
it?
a giant liberal cesspool.
I don't
Yeah.
hang out on Reddit, so I don't know.
just the tiniest little glimmer of hope, which I've already snuffed back out again.
I have no hope. Until I see November 5th come and go, I have no hope. And it's probably just going to be worse. That's 3 weeks away.
Oh God.
So, all right. Anywho, I think that rounds that off. That's something we've been needing to hit on for a little while. So, thank you for doing the legwork, Mike. Or
You're
thank
welcome.
AI. I'm not sure who.
I actually wrote that all. No, I take that back. I typed it all out, but I definitely stole talking points from someone else.
Man, we got to work on your ego. You got to take credit for everything.
I
You did
can't do
research.
that. I'm just a humble guy.
Anyway. All right. So, we still got time for more stuff.
Dave, do you have rewoting?
I do have reloading
Oh no,
and some reloading
rewoting.
woes.
Oh,
Yeah. No,
it's
my
twoo.
stepdad and I. It's 12. 12 is my limit on Schnitchengruben. Anyway, so my stepdad and I are getting into reloading, and we're almost there, I think, to get fired up. It's just everything that's nickel and diming us right now just like, oh, you need this, oh, you need that, oh, you need this, oh, you need that,
Yeah.
and
Oh, you need this tiny
we-
little part? It's $400.
yeah, it's like, oh, you need a case trimmer? Fuck, fine. We did splurge. Well, he did. This partnership is really one-sided at the moment. It's like he's bought most of everything.
Best kind right there.
No, it's like I bought a couple dies and a reamer thing. But
To be fair, you did get an entire setup. I don't know if it's worth a fuck, but you did get an entire
yeah,
setup.
no, that's one of the things too. So we've got an RCBS single stage that we're gonna do rifle stuff on, and then I've got the Lee Pro 1000 that I got from Sean, and I took the powder measure off because I fucked that thing. So we've got one of the fancy RCBS little scales, the little measurers, where it just spits out how much powder you need, and then we'll
Well,
just
you
use
got
a funnel and whoop.
That's not even what I was thinking of when you were asking about powder measurers. I thought you mean like the thrower.
Oh no,
That's it looks like a trickler, like the or is it?
yeah,
It's electric. Yeah,
It
it's
just
electric.
out like
yep. Like the little tube spins, and it just spits out powder.
And you go,
And
"Oh,
then
wow,
it's
And if
stops
you
that
look
was
at
like
it wrong, it spits out another half
the
grain.
old powder thrower, like where it just has the little thing
you
and
know,
it drops
cannon
down
arm."
in there, and then you lift it up, and there's some powder in there, and then it drops down.
There's always extra powder in there. That I learned about mine.
Always, yeah.
We have one of those too, but we decided, or he decided to splurge on that good one. So we've got that. Our tumbler's been running for
Dibs.
I don't know, a week.
Gideon Optics dibs.
Wait,
Oh,
fuck.
I will share.
Oh.
I will share it after we do the shotgun video. But I want that on the 590 up there for the shotgun.
Damn it!
No,
Yep.
I'll freaking share it to whoever after that. I'll keep running the Omega. I want the granite for the shotgun vid I'm planning.
See, he was just trying to give it to anyone but you.
Right.
Yeah, well,
I hate to break it to you, but you're his least favorite.
Unluckily for everyone else, I think I have slightly faster. I mean, my internet's faster, so I've got a little bit of an edge on you.
No,
was
I
playing
just
with my
didn't see
powder
it.
measure.
I don't focus on the
Yeah.
comments. I focus on who's talking because that's polite.
Anyway, Dave, so you tell it you type in to have it spit out 30 grains, and you had a pinch, right?
Something like that. No, you just seed it further, I thought.
No. If it seats too deep, there's not enough powder.
It's a compression load.
It's like black
But-
powder, man. If you don't want an airspace, actually, in
But-
black powder, you don't want an airspace. You want it.
Better tamp it down some more.
Like,
we
man, I didn't know my AR-15 was a Nagant.
I have a genuine muzzle loading question on that. Is it genuinely possible to overpack the powder and Bugs Bunny yourself?
Theoretically, yes. What you're going to run into, so black powder comes in, F, 2F, 3F, which has to do with the actual granular size. I think theoretically you could overpack it to the point. A lot of the granular size is for ease of measuring. It also has a little bit to do with burn rate, is my understanding. Does that sound right to you, Vince?
I don't think you can overpack it because it's an explosive. Like black powder is an actual explosive.
Fair.
It's volume. I mean, it's going to peak pressure based on the volume. If you pack it hard enough to have a problem, you're probably detonating it due to pressure.
That's
hitting
not
it
what I
with a
was
hammer.
asking.
Good
What I was
point.
asking is if you can pack it hard enough with your hand to detonate it.
I don't think so.
I do know, and don't ask me how I know, that one of the risks of like bomb making is if you get black powder on the threads of a galvanized pipe and you screw it down, supposedly that'll actually blow it up.
I have heard of that with the pipe bomb thing, yeah.
I
Yeah,
recall
that's why
that
actually
now.
that's why bomb making is actually very dangerous. Don't do it at home, kids. No, one of the biggest where you might Bugs Bunny yourself with a black powder firearm is if you have a gap between your powder charge and your ball. I do not know the specifics, the actual physics of that. I probably used to, but this was years and years ago. I was researching this kind of crap when I was getting into black powder for my 2 black powder revolvers. I think it has to do with the expansion of the gases when the powder goes off, and you're not. Crap. I don't remember, but you can blow blow up your gun by get your powder in there, not get your ball properly seated, and I don't remember. Crap.
What it
If you
does
have
is
a 58
create a
caliber and you put
secondary.
a 62 caliber in there,
Save me, Vince.
It creates a secondary pressure spike. The same thing can actually happen if you load too slow of a powder in a Magnum cartridge. There have been reported incidents of, so you have the pressure moving down the barrel, and the initial unseating of the bullet sends the bullet down the barrel, but then it takes a little bit for that burning column to catch up to the bullet, and you have a secondary pressure spike further down the barrel where it's weaker, and you can actually bulge the barrel halfway down.
So
and
I
would
don't know
happen
why.
when you don't have constant gas pressure pushing the bullet out.
Correct. Yes.
don't
If you
know
have
why.
inconsistencies in the gas pressure because it's burning too slow.
Interesting.
I was just going
That-
to say, I don't know why I even attempt to answer these type of questions when I should just be pointing to Vince.
Because we all like to look like we know something.
Anyway, Dave, what kind of problems you having?
So we were gonna start punching out primers and sizing cases on the single stage, and we didn't know about this lube business. Stuck a case.
Rifle rounds.
So yeah, 223. And so in an attempt to get the case out, the little primer punch was bent by a drill bit. So it got sent back to RCBS because they said they'll fix it. So we're like, fucking perfect. And then we go to start loading or depriming 22250. And we lube it all up. We clean the fucking dye and everything and send it. Nothing comes back. I'm like, oh, motherfucker. So pull it out, pull the dye out, put it back in upside down to where, like the casing is pointed up, and got to wrenching with some pliers and got that one out without fucking anything up. And then we put the correct shell holder in the press. So that brought everything back home, and then we punched out, I don't know, 250 cases in like the next half hour or so.
So I learned a thing,
We're-
and I don't know if your RCBS dies have them or not, but a lot of the dies that you use to size and punch primers, you can use the primer puncher, and you can like screw it down like really far down in order to unseat the stuck case so that you can get enough of a vice grip on it to pull it the rest of the way out. And it takes a lot of the friction off too.
I bent one doing that.
It's
Yeah, you're
not
more like
that
They also
little
offer
primer
rep-
punch is fucking like number 9 mechanical pencil lead.
So that's it doesn't, the primer punch itself isn't actually what pushes it out. It's the, where it
Talking about-
bottlenecks up into a big thick bar instead of just being a little tiny primer punch bar. If you don't have a big thick bar, then you probably don't have it. If you don't have a screw end on the back
the
of your...
expander button.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah, I bent the whole freaking rod trying to do that.
Yeah, that's what he's saying. It's like,
Some
The longer
that's
you
what I'm
make
saying. Some of them are
yeah.
Yeah.
some of them are designed to be let me back up. Mine is the Dylan dies that I have. They are all designed to screw down the primer punch so that you can unseat a stuck case, and then pull it back up. So you use
Yeah,
the primer
wouldn't-
part.
I wouldn't trust this one. It's
Now we get
it's
it,
not
Bob.
thick.
Okay,
But
I got you.
anyway, so it works really good if you have the correct shell holder. But
that's correct.
we have an ass load of Varget powder. I don't know. I'm looking for books too, but I don't really know where to find a bunch of books.
Amazon.
Amazons. Any books that you would recommend? We have the
okay.
Nosler book right now.
So just in general, the best place I have found to get your data is actually where whoever's making the powder. Whoever's making your powder, that's the one I trust the most with the different projectiles and weights and the weights of your charge load. I like Hodgdon's reloading
Mm-hmm.
dot com. That's kind of my go-to if it's not in any of my books. I have the Hornady manuals. I also have the Lyman. I had the Lee second edition as well. But I think the Hodgkins reloading, and also if you're using reloader powders, I'd go to reloading, Google search, find that.
Mm-hmm.
Ramshot, that's who makes the reloader powders, I think. No. Who makes
Ramshot's a type of powder, I thought.
Alliant reloader
yeah.
powders.
Oh,
That's it.
Okay.
What bullet grain are you doing, Dave?
We're gonna do probably 52s in a 22-250, 55s and 223, and then like 115, 124, 9. We're gonna fuck around with 300.
All right.
So
You want
Varget-
34 grains. That's your
Varget
starting
is
load.
too fast for your 300 Win Mag. It is, of course,
Yeah, I wasn't
inappropriate
gonna
for your
go there.
pistol.
Yeah.
It's probably okay for your lighter bullets in 22-250. It really likes heavier bullets in your 5.56, but it's not going to give you top velocities with anything in your 5.56.
That works. I also have a bunch of. What would you say it was? Alien?
Alliant.
Oh, Alliant Unique. Whatever that is. They said it's the
Unique's
most
good for pistol.
Okay, good. Because we
I
have
learned
That
a
may
lot of
be also
45
one of
with
those weird
Unique.
ones that you can do subsonic or really, really slow loads in rifle cartridges.
Okay.
If you want to do like stupid stuff and you're bored. I want to
That's
turn
not
my
gonna be
300
bored.
Win Mag into a 300 Blackout.
Oh,
300 lights out.
we're going to. We have a lot of time because we have a lot of brass. We just need primers, really. We can find projectiles anywhere, but
Go to AmmoSeek, and I've been hearing. I asked the dudes in the Reloading podcast Signal Chat if they'd ever use the. I think they're Spanish or Portuguese primers, possibly Brazilian. Servicios de Aventuras. I see those on AmmoSeek a lot. They're about 4 cents a primer. And the prices kept dropping since COVID, and everything spiked back then. So primers are almost back where they were supposed to be anyway.
4 cents a primer isn't bad. I spent way more than
No.
that recently. Actually, not way more. I spent like 5.5 cents a primer on the Gen X from Bosnia.
And did those work okay?
I have not loaded any of them yet, but I inspected them for consistency of like the priming compound, and they all seem pretty good. Like they seem to be pretty consistent. So if one works, most of them should work. So
Yeah. Currently, you can get 10,000 Servicios Aventuras. There is no D. 10,000 of them for $394.
that is if they work and they're good, that's a good price. Just saying.
that is
Considering
but that is
they're
a
$90 for a brick in Shields or Cabela's, yeah.
Yeah.
And these are small pistol primers, I should point out. You probably need
Yeah.
small rifles for...
small rifle for 223.
Yeah. So let's look.
All right. Well, we don't need a shot for primers live.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I
no,
don't
that's
think so.
fine.
No. I
I
was
was
just
We're
5
trying to
cents a
figure
primer
all
for
of this
small
out
rifle.
on our own. Like I've never even watched anybody reload, so it's just been YouTube and books, and
That's how I learned.
hopefully
I would say
not grenade or rifle.
I
right
haven't
now,
grenaded one yet.
if you find a powder you like, go buy some because there has been a nitrocellulose shortage for the past like 15
I
months.
saw that.
And yeah, if you find a powder that you like and there's some available, go buy it because things are
Cool.
likely to get worse.
Okay, good to know.
Well, that
like-
is what I have.
Don't do
like
what I
IMR
do and buy
4350
like
for 30-06. I don't have a lot of it. Go ahead, Vince. Sorry.
don't buy 30 pounds of powder and then not know if you're gonna like it or not.
And don't do what I do, which is buy random pounds of powder so that you've got a pound of this, a pound of that, a pound of this, a pound of that.
Dude,
Mix
that's
them
like
all
the
together
ultimate
and make a
Skittles
pound of all
load.
of it.
I
Dude,
do have a bottle which is dedicated to some of it was powder that got left out in the sun. The only time I've ever gotten a squib load is when I learned that smokeless powder is sensitive to UV light. Because I left a bunch of it in my powder throw. It was in there for a really long time. And the only thing I can figure is the sunlight coming into the window hitting it, because I loaded up some 45 Colt, which I was doing almost on a weekly basis. I shot so much 45 Colt for a stringer of about 2 years. But I went out there to the target, went boop. It's like, that was really quiet. And sure enough, it's like, uh-oh. Unload it and take a look. Squib load. Nuts. Knocked it out. Figured it was, I must have somehow not got enough powder in that one. Couple more shots, another squib. It's like, okay, this is a problem. So it's got that powder on it. It's got a couple, you use up, you get like, you get like 15 grains, but you need 35. So you're like, what the hell do I do with this? Just put it in
Throw it in the flower garden.
I put it in the big bottle.
Yeah,
What are you going to do with the big bottle?
That's for. That's
Well,
that's
is it a
what I-
surprise
what I
tool that'll
filled
help us later?
Yeah.
No. When I filled up, I should have saved the video. It was on it was two or three phones ago. I filled up when I got one full. I basically just made a big powder trail out in the dirt and just lit it and just watched it go snake around.
Is that your Mixo powdered, Vince?
No, this is the stuff I want. If you're watching this and you have some of this you don't want, I want it.
Lime green
IMR.
IMR 4166.
This stuff is this is my favorite. I love it. They don't make it anymore. They quit making it because of COVID, of all freaking things.
Fucking
Fucking-
douchebags.
Because
Rhoda.
the manufacturer in Canada no longer had the components they needed to make it, and they're like, we're just going to cancel those orders. So IMR canceled the line. Made me very
Boo.
sad.
Mm.
Oh, Canada.
Oh,
Canada.
Oh,
Canada.
Canada.
Where do you get your powder?
Man,
Or anybody?
all over.
Okay. I
Actually,
didn't know if
lately,
you bought it online or not.
I like to buy it in person if I can, because online always incurs a hazmat fee. But there's a
You can-
place that seems okay. That is, there's a place I look at called American Reloading,
I
and
love
they
that
seem to
website.
have like second run powders from
The
different
Midwest stuff?
manufacturers. Not even the Midwest, not even that, like the Shooter's World.
Oh, yeah.
They have powder that they sell as, this has a weird designation and it's similar to this other powder that is common on the market. And it's kind of odd, but that's where I've been looking at lately.
Okay.
Besides that, I've ordered from like Midway USA, Brownells.
American
the-
Reloading is fantastic for projectiles. They're probably my favorite place to get projectiles because you can usually get their pulled rounds a hell of a lot cheaper than you can even get powder coated stuff.
The other thing, if you're looking at like you want cases, look for primed cases on American Reloading, because primed cases, here's the thing. So if you buy primers, you have to pay a hazmat fee for shipping. If you buy powder, you have to pay a hazmat fee for shipping. If you buy primed cases, you do not have to pay a hazmat fee for shipping, because they are not deemed hazardous in the way that case packed primers are, because they're separated from each other. Not only that, they can ship U.S. mail. They can go USPS for primed cases, whereas anything else hazmat is a big no-no for U.S. mail. But you can get
Gotcha.
primed cases shipped via USPS priority mail flat rate. So, you can maximize that dollar there.
Dave, you could probably get a bunch of powder online, try a few different powders out, figure out what you guys like, and then go tell your big artist stock it.
I would not do that. That's wrong. You find the local couple pounds at a time, and then you order big amounts online, because the hazmat, like I said, the hazmat's $20 no matter what, plus shipping for your powder. So if you buy 1 pound of powder, say it's $40 for the pound of powder, plus 20 plus your actual shipping cost.
You
so
can
you
buy
want to
primers
order
at the same place too, and you ship it all under one hazmat fee for it goes up to a certain weight.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you could do that, but don't go like picking and choosing. Like, I'm gonna order a pound of H335 today. Oh, that's $100 down the drain, because that would be $100 down the drain.
Well, if he got H335 or 355, I don't know what numbers you said.
It's an
Well,
example.
I'm going to be breaking my own tradition and watch this show. So, because I'm definitely going to come back to this conversation. So, I do appreciate the input.
And you can check prices and availability and stuff on AmmoSeek. And they'll definitely give you. They'll even provide you if a website is offering free hazmat. That's what I was going to say earlier.
Oh,
Sometimes
yeah,
a
I've seen
website
those.
will offer you free hazmat. Brownells does it a lot. So if you're on Brownells and they're like, oh, free hazmat, you could load yourself up powder and primers for free $20. I've
Cool.
done that before.
Cool. Well,
Perfect.
we're getting close to the end, but before we round it out, I wanted to ask Vince a question. Did you
Okay.
jam a new barrel up your old receiver?
I did indeed.
Oh,
Yeah,
It's
I've
thick.
been. I showed the guys earlier before we got on the show, and
the
I'll take
tubes?
some pictures and put them on Reddit, because that's about the only place where I can actually put pictures of guns and not get in trouble by the powers that be. But I have an old bolt action Remington. So it's not a Remington 700. It's a Remington 722, which is actually the precursor to the 700 series. It was the 722, which was a short action, and the 721, which was the long action version, and then a 725, which was another short action for some reason. I'm not making that up. But then after, some testing and some few little tweaks, they condensed everything down to a 700 model that was, and then a long action and a short action. You guys froze. Can you still hear me?
Yeah,
Okay,
you're still
there you
there.
go. Okay, good.
It is quite cold in here.
Anyway, got a Remington 722, which is the older version of the Remington 700 short action, and they're actually pretty much the same, except for some minor variations. To the point where, like, Remington 700 triggers work, Remington 700 optics mounts, stocks, all that stuff. You can just put it right in, except for the stock has to be modified slightly if you're putting an actual 722 receiver into a 700 stock, but that's neither here nor there. But the barrels are interchangeable. So I had a Remington 722 for a long time with a 300 Savage barrel on it that I had swapped out about 7 or 8 years ago, and I killed a number of deer with the new barrel. Well, actually, I killed a number of deer with the 300 Savage barrel that was on it, and then I swapped it for a 7mm 08 barrel and killed a number of deer with that, including my biggest deer, which sometime I will hang in front of the camera and let y'all look at it. But I wanted a barrel that I could put a suppressor on, and also there's the draw hunt here in Oklahoma, which I did not draw this year, but still it's always in the back of my mind. That is a 277 caliber minimum for the rifle used in that draw hunt.
Mhm.
So for elk statewide in Oklahoma for the quota hunt, it's actually the deer. What am I thinking of? For rifles, it's the deer calibers. whatever's legal for deer is legal for elk statewide in Oklahoma. So I could use a
Yeah, same here.
5.56 if I wandered upon one. But for the draw hunts, it's a 277 caliber minimum. So I wanted something bigger than 6.5 because I also considered finding a 6.5 Creedmoor barrel that I could put a suppressor on, and I settled on a 308. So I found me a 308 barrel fluted heavy contour that was already threaded off of Numrich gun parts, and it was decided, you know what, why not? And I ordered it up and got it over here, knocked the old barrel off the receiver because I have a barrel vise and an action wrench for a 700 because frickin' why not? And screws the new barrel down on there, and it appears to headspace just fine. I don't have actually the gauges that you're supposed to, but I did take a factory round and put a piece of paper in between the round and the shoulder to see if it would seat with that on there, and it would not. So that tells me that it's probably within field, if not within complete no-go or go. So there's field, go, and no go. So it should be about go. It definitely chambers. So it's probably safe. Here's the thing.
Probably.
Okay, so my 300 Blackout that had a 223 barrel on it, that's what I did. I just knocked the old barrel, put a new one on, and it's like perfect. And that's kind of the dirty secret about your Remington 700s is they all headspace near abouts correctly. It's just that you're not going to get the lettering on the barrel, but you should probably check. It's not like the Remage system where you just kind of screw it down onto, whatever loaded round you're going to be using, and it's fine. You should probably check, but it's also what I've read in multiple places. Like, yeah, they're usually within spec. You just kind of don't do anything stupid.
So it's probably fine, but as legal advice, you should definitely buy a good no-go, blah, 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 no-go.
You should buy at
gauge.
least a field gauge. That is the bare minimum, is buying a field gauge, because the field gauge will tell you if you're in death territory. A no-go gauge is your loaded round. If it's not going to take a loaded round of factory ammunition, it's not going to work. And
Fair.
you don't need a no-go gauge. But anyway, so I got my old, I don't know, it gives me very, very like Vietnam sniper vibes. Except
Yep.
I've got the AI magazine set up with it. So the Accuracy International magazines with the Magpul bottom and what is this? This is a Graybow Outlander stock on it as well. So it's a fiberglass stock, not too heavy. This whole thing with the suppressor on it comes in at about 10.5 pounds, which isn't lightweight, but it's also not stupid heavy. It's not like someone's 300 Win Mag AR.
Hey, that hurt.
He knows I'm right, though.
He worked his ass off to get down to
It's
11.
not, I work my ass off to get down beneath 12. And again, it's not necessarily the weight. It's how she wears it. And she don't wear it good.
And you don't have a suppressor on it. I've got a suppressor on mine.
It might as well have a suppressor. She's a little too long in the tooth.
Anyway, this one, I mean, I could see if this was 16 inches with the heavy barrel, it would balance much better with the suppressor. It's a little bit long as it is, but it's still pretty cool. I'm looking forward to shooting it. I haven't gotten it out to shoot it yet, and I met a guy recently, and I might go over to his place and shoot a little bit. He's got a little bit longer setup, maybe. So we'll see how that goes. But I got I have my 2-12 Athlon on this one, and
we're brothers.
I don't know. This one,
He's like, I don't know about that, but
not exactly. This is a 308. That's a 300 Win Mag. They're
Well, mine's on my 6.
They're related.
6.5 right
They
now.
might not be brothers.
So mine's on my 6.5 right now. That 300 Win Mag doesn't have a scope on it.
All right. Put a red dot on it.
It's got
Quit
iron.
messing around.
Put the fucking granite.
Ah, yes,
On your
put the
3-to-1
granite on
mag.
it. Do it.
Put the Omega on it.
Color your home defense rifle.
All right.
300 Win Mag with a pistol dot.
Put
Unironic.
Granite
the
is
Omega
just
and the
not-
granite on it, and then it looks like empty scope rings.
Oh boy. Like I said,
That's just
the
dumb
Omega's
enough
up
to
there.
work.
The granite's gonna go up there. We're gonna do that shotgun video, and then after that, whatever.
Anyway,
Alright.
this
Take it
is
for
my
granted.
first 308. I actually bought ammunition for a 308 back in April, and I did not own one. Because
I remember when you said you bought ammo for a rifle you didn't have. Now you have
Yeah.
now you have the rifle.
Yeah. Funny how that happens.
I still don't
Yeah,
have a
you should
16
go buy
gauge
some-
shotgun.
You, you tried. They just went. "Mook."
Sam,
Vince,
did
you should go buy some 50 BMG. Maybe a
Hey.
rifle will appear.
What's that one
Wish it into
upper that
existence.
bolts onto an AR-15 lower, and that's your rifle? Man, I want one.
Isn't that just an AR upper?
Wait, are you asking me this?
I don't know. There's a 50 BMG upper that
Oh,
attaches to an AR-15 lower, and
Hang
then there's the magazine is on the side. It's just an AR-15 lower attached to a 50 BMG upper.
I
I-
wish they made more side-loading magazine firearms because, frankly, it's a vibe.
It have you ever seen the movie The Hunter?
Uh,
It's a weird kind of like cryptozoologist murder mystery movie starring Willem Dafoe of all freaking people, and it's actually a really cool movie.
He is a freaky people.
what I'm
He is a
seeing
freaky people. Yes.
the most of is there's a few of them. Taclight 50 BMG, but that is a single shot. The side-loading magazine appears to be Zell Custom Taclight 50 BMG. There you go.
Yeah.
It is a bolt gun. It's not a single shot. It feeds from the left-hand
Listen.
side of the.
If you're a prepper, you should be buying 50 BMG no matter what. Just in case. It's trade fodder, and you might happen upon one.
Mhm.
You might happen upon multiples.
And they might be shooting at you.
Sam,
I just
please tell
figured
me you were
something
hunting
out.
duck with that trench gun with the Omega on it. And if you
No,
weren't, why?
Because it doesn't have a
because
choke.
I like having a modified choke, and that's a cylinder bore. And I don't want to bother plugging that one.
You need a fucking dowel rod.
No, I was using my 535, which is Mossberg's fancy pants 500 series turkey gun with a 3.5-inch chamber. Oh yeah, that happened. Speaking of the National Lampoon crap, that happened the night before we were going. I was like, wait, what shot are you using? I've got some steel BB.
Oh, yeah, that was fun.
You're
And I was like,
"Oh, idiot, get number 4. It's like, it's too late to get number 4. It's then I finally found a box of number 4 I had from last year. Oh, that was the thing too. I did put that guy. I can't flip it around right now. I really like the shotgun card stuff. Like, I don't know, call it system because that sounds really tactical and gay. But where you stick some freaking industrial Velcro to the left side of the receiver, and then you get the little Velcro shotgun cards. They're basically just a really stiff nylon plaque, little placard guy with a bunch of elastic loops in it. I really like that I like that on that gun. I finally slapped some on my hunting shotgun, and I'm awfully glad I did because again, that was where I had the 3 rounds still on the gun that I used to kill the ducks. And then you just load out of that, and I got a bunch of them really super cheap from China that aren't the STAC ones that are $15. So that way, if I lose them, not a big deal. But
sweet.
no, I'll be using that for the video stuff, but I don't use that one to hunt animals anyway.
Anyhow.
I figured something out.
What?
So you see my camera, how it looks like I'm standing in front of my snowplow, like blue, orange, blue,
No,
orange.
it's
Yeah, I've
feature.
it's been tripping me out.
It's because it's trying to get your pasty white farmer's tan all in.
It just
Focus.
can't get the right white balance with you.
I can turn it
Because
off.
that other one's pink.
Oh boy,
It's the pink hammer.
that's so weird.
You need something a little bit more white behind you for the camera to balance
Yeah,
out on.
I know.
Hey,
I was thinking
all right,
about
so
painting this, but anyway.
we are gonna start wrapping up here. Good Mike, you asked a question in the YouTube chat. If you don't get your answer here in the next 2 minutes, you can email Vince over at vince@lghpodcast.com and pester him with all the questions that you want.
I'm gonna get
Pester
so much
quester.
spam now.
Oh,
Yeah, you are.
Mike. Good
Dick
Mike
pics.
is the one that has that apple sausage recipe.
Ooh.
Ooh,
Mhm.
Wait, someone actually has a recipe?
Yeah.
Hold
I'll
on,
send
my
it to
wife
you.
has been giving me endless crap about that because she thinks it sounds disgusting.
Yeah.
So let's
I'll,
try it.
I'll send it to you.
Just a
The
reminder
recipe
that we
is in
do
my
love
phone
if you
over
send
there.
us your recipes. If you have recipes, send us to them at, or Jesus, send them to us at, what do we have? Contact at LGH
seriously.
Podcast?
contact lghpodcast.com or Sam at lghpodcast.com or Mike
Send
at
me to your-
lghpodcast.com or Vince at lghpodcast.com.
Dave had to go with Plow Guy Dave because he had to be a non-humble douche. But yeah, Plow Guy Dave at LGH. I'm just kidding. It's Dave.
All right.
Please send me to your recipes.
Please. Recipes.
Yep.
All right.
Oh, well.
We don't have any reviews that I saw of, so as always, leave us a review. I will send you a sticker. I will also send you. Never mind, Vince, get it out of here.
I
That's not me. It's Mike.
I don't see.
before we go-
Dusky is in the
Oh,
chat.
I jumped to Vince to save me. He's been my default this time.
I was gonna hit that, Vince. I saw Dusky in the chat. I want to shout out to Dusky who bought the first LGH T-shirt I've seen in the wild, and it happened to be a Camerado Emberstorm, which that's the orange that everybody hates except for me. So shout out to Dusky for getting that. If you go to camerado.com, you can use code
Let's go
Hunt
all
for
caps.
5% off. And we also mentioned we were talking about the Gideon Optics LGH podcast to save 10% on Gideon at gideonoptics.com.
Yep, they're very moist. All right, Mike.
They are such the moistest optics.
It's a little
Support
awkward.
this.
It's a little awkward. You take it out of the box. It's a little sticky.
And
You
that
can
was
wash it off.
that's just Bob's
Gross.
personal.
It'll dry
Signature.
out eventually.
It also washes off with soap and shame.
The rock
Hot
is
water.
still hard though.
Support the sport and take a buddy hunting. Don't Blue Falcon that buddy, especially literally. Tell them about our show. Hit us up at lghpodcast.com. Vote no on Prop 127. Thanks for listening, and let's go hunt. I was going to say the ban on cat hunting, but didn't need to hit that.
If you vote yes on Prop 127, send me an email so I can send you hate mail.
And then kill yourself.
No, don't do that. Just
Come on.
fall off something really tall. I didn't. Wow. Okay. I didn't get any show titles, so we're all on our own now. Good
I
night,
think
Uh,
Reciplease.